Let's jump right in. Think of our time together today in this explainer as a direct one-on-one mentoring session. Because if you're tuning in, you're probably someone who pushes hard, aims really high, and desperately wants to see tangible, high-level growth in your career and your life. But let me guess, you might also feel like you're just spinning your wheels, despite all that hard work. Well, today, we are going to fundamentally restructure your life strategy. Okay, let's dive into this.
I have wasted a lot of time in my life. Oof, that's a pretty jarring confession, right? It actually comes from a highly seasoned career advisor, someone who has literally helped thousands of people land six-figure dream jobs. And honestly, it's incredibly relatable. Even the most successful people look back and realize they spent years just treading water, assuming that staying incredibly busy was the exact same thing as making real progress. It takes a ton of self-awareness to admit that, but acknowledging it is the absolute first step toward actually fixing it.
This perfectly captures the trap so many ambitious people fall into. We adopt this deeply flawed strategy of just, piling up experiences. We move to new cities, we jump into different jobs, we network with a ton of people, and we pedal as hard as we possibly can. And then we just kind of wait. We wait for this magical, accidental tipping point where all our chaotic life experiences suddenly coalesce into this perfect, meaningful career path. We rationalize it by thinking, how could anyone answering this many emails not be doing important work? But hope, my friends, is not a strategy.
So time for a little bit of tough love. On one side, we have the trap of busyness. This is passive accumulation, where you're just waiting for inspiration or intuition to magically strike while you're drowning in a sea of tasks. On the flip side is the systematic strategy. And this is exactly what we are shifting to today. You simply cannot afford to let success happen by accident. You need to execute a clear plan. You don't need to do more things. You need to do the right things better. Because if you don't have a clear, compelling life strategy, you are leaving your ultimate success entirely up to chance. No way around it.
To really shift our mindset here, author and professor Cal Newport hit the nail on the head. He says, a successful life strategy is not about doing it all, but about doing the right things better. Just putting in the hours, that's simply not enough anymore. You've got to identify what specific activities generate the absolute highest returns for you personally, and then you must focus relentlessly on those behaviors. That means actively, purposely excluding most other distractions.
So you're probably asking, what exactly are those right things? Well, here they are: planning, creation, service, reflection, and celebration. Now, I want to be crystal clear. This is not some passive intellectual exercise. This is a highly actionable roadmap for your daily execution. As your virtual mentor today, I'm going to break down each of these 5 pillars into simple, everyday habits that you can start using immediately to drive that high-level growth.
First up, Pillar 1, planning, the prerequisite for long-term success.
Look, it is time we stop half-assing our weeks and start actually directing them. Planning is so easy to overlook because it kind of feels like it takes time away from the actual doing. But whether you're launching a new business project or just organizing a family trip, your probability of a good outcome skyrockets when you plan first. So here are your exact habits to fix this. Step 1, block out 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. every single Monday. That is your non-negotiable deep dive. Step 2, during that hour, remind yourself of your overarching goals, and then define only the tasks that actively align with those goals. Step 3, supplement that with a daily 5-minute scratchpad check-in. Right before you open your email in the morning, take 5 minutes to just write down what is most important for that specific day. It's so simple, but it aggressively keeps you on track.
Moving right along to Pillar 2, creation, becoming a value creator.
This is where we talk about stepping up and becoming what I like to call a regret-free role model. Think about the people you admire the most, the ones who have accomplished something truly real with their lives. They all share one major common denominator. They are value creators. They don't just sit back and consume what others have made. They actively create a disproportionate positive impact on the world and the people around them. If you want high-level growth, you absolutely have to transition from being a consumer to a creator.
So the crucial point here is how you're spending your time. It's so easy to fall into the trap of passive learning. Binging endless TED Talks, reading countless books, and kind of tricking yourself into thinking you're being productive. And sure, learning is important, but it is not creation. You have to apply that knowledge to actually build something. Write an article, code a program, build a shelf, even brew some beer or cook a brand new meal. For most of us, what we create might never even reach the public eye, and that is perfectly fine. The goal is to hardwire the daily habit of creating something that literally didn't exist before you woke up that morning.
Next is Pillar 3, service,
giving with no strings attached.
In our hyper-competitive modern world, it's incredibly easy to fall into the trap of focusing entirely inward on our own career, our own well-being, our own success. But focusing solely inward, that's a massive strategic mistake. One of our most vital human needs is to contribute. So your habit here is to commit time every single week to doing something for someone else. You can volunteer your time formally, sure, but it can be even simpler than that. Look around your office or your home. Find a coworker who is completely swamped or a family member who just needs a hand. Do something mundane for them. But here is the absolute golden rule. Your help must come with zero strings attached. You expect absolutely nothing in return. It completely resets your perspective and beautifully grounds your ambition.
On to Pillar 4, reflection. Translating experience into meaning. Reflection is a mandatory step, yet it's the one high achievers tend to skip the most because, well, it feels unproductive. Remember that flawed strategy we talked about earlier, just piling up experiences? Well, that fails because experiences do not magically coalesce into real meaning unless you actively make the time to reflect on them. Think about it. If you are constantly moving, constantly pedaling, you are never actually translating what's happening to you into true understanding that you can actually build upon.
Let's look at how to build this into your routine. Here are your firm instructions for reflection. First, you must unplug completely. Turn off the phone, slam the laptop shut. You need to become strictly unreachable for this allocated time. Take a walk in the woods or just sit in a quiet room, but bring only a pen and paper. Seriously, just sit there and let your thoughts surface, and when they do, document them. Capturing these thoughts on paper is exactly how you turn chaotic daily inputs into a clear, strategic direction for your life.
Finally, Pillar 5, celebration and fun. Rewarding the work.
I know exactly what some of you hard chargers are thinking right now. Fun is a distraction. But as your mentor today, I'm telling you that is completely backwards. We need to fundamentally break this stigma. You have to stop associating having fun with irresponsibility right now. When you execute your plan and you do something good, whether that success is a massive career milestone or a tiny daily win, you must celebrate it. It's a genuinely necessary psychological reward that fuels your drive for the next challenge. So your daily and weekly celebration habits should look a bit like this. Do something you genuinely enjoy just for the absolute sake of it. Hit the driving range, go out to a concert, or just sit down and read a fiction book. Secondly, practice active gratitude. Remind yourself that you've been given opportunities that so many people haven't. And third, use your success and your free time to bring people together. You don't need a fancy beach house to do it. You literally just need the will to connect with friends and celebrate the journey together.
Okay, let's bring it all together with the accountability engine. Don't break the chain.
All of this mentorship, all these great concepts we just talked about, they mean absolutely nothing without execution. So here is the ultimate golden rule for high-level growth. You must spend at least some time on all 5 of these activities every single day. Yes, all 5. Now, the amount of time will vary wildly. Maybe you spend 2 hours creating, but only 5 minutes planning and 3 minutes reflecting. And you know what? That is perfectly fine. What matters is that you touch every single pillar daily. To permanently wire this into your life, I highly recommend using the Seinfeld Don't Break the Chain method. Think about a simple timeline. Day 1, you do all 5 activities. Day 2, you make a visual record of that success. Literally put a big red X on a physical calendar. Day 3, your only goal in life is to not break that visual chain. Day 4 and beyond, you are solidifying the habit. When you track it visually, you build this incredible momentum, and suddenly, doing the right things better just becomes a core part of your DNA.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a direct challenge. Take a hard look at your own career trajectory right now. Look at your calendar from last week. Are you just busy? Or are you actually executing a systematic strategy? Ask yourself, what are the highest value activities in your life right now? And more importantly, are you giving them the daily attention they actually deserve? Take a few minutes today to reflect on that and start building your own chain. You've got this.